We are obviously incredibly proud of him today, Odile and I. The one thing that we've always wanted for our children is that they're passionate about what they do. We've told them we don't care what you do, just be passionate about it, believe in it. And I think if you saw him on the stage, the amount of time he spent on the stage today, and the packet of silverware that he brought back today, you would agree that he's been incredibly passionate about following this dream, or this passion that he has of trying to use science to figure out some of the most imponderable questions that your professors can talk about, of why people do what they do. It's, if you knew Tadhg when he was growing up, you would say that on the one hand, you're really not surprised that he is using science to try to figure out why people do what they do. But on the other hand, you'd also think that it's very surprising that he's doing this. And let me tell you why. Since actually, I'll start with why it's not surprising. Since he could talk, not much bigger than that photo that you saw in the invitation, he has been asking questions particularly to adults, nonstop. And I'm not talking about those little annoying kids who keep asking why, until you get to the point where the parent has to say, look, just because I'm the parent, you're the child, it just is, shut up. But his questions, even at a very young age, were insightful, penetrating, quite often awkward, and usually embarrassing for the person who was being asked the question. And I remember when he was in maternal, which is the French equivalent of kindergarten, so 6 years old, he was on a school trip, and he ended up being seated next to a teacher who was his sister's teacher. And his questions to her were along the lines of, are you the right teacher for my sister? What made you want to become a teacher? Do you have children? Well, if you don't have children, how could you be a good teacher?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wait, that makes sense. Wow.
This teacher
That makes sense.
came away and
Wow, that's
told
amazing.
Odile, she said, I felt like I was in a job interview with a 6-year-old. And his questions were often about relationships. He wanted to know how people were together, what made a couple. He had this idea, I think he still does, that couples are princes and princesses.
Yeah.
Well, you know this, huh?
Yeah, your answer,
So I remember
queen.
when my brother Sean came for the first time to our house with his girlfriend at the time, now wife, Karen, and Tadhg sitting at our dining room table, and said, so, Sean, Karen, you're the new princess? And Sean, I'm not sure if he was just trying to buy time or if he was genuinely confused, but his answer was something like, well, you see, and Karen just immediately said, you're damn right I'm his princess. And they've been very close ever since. But that, genuine desire to understand people, it was not just academic, it's from his heart. He's one of the most generous and most empathetic people I know, which makes him very different from me on the empathy side.
Yeah.
I remember there was we had some construction being done in our house, and we had some workers in the house, and workers in Vietnam at the time, they're not union scale, they don't wear hard hats, these are day laborers. And this one guy, had to bring his son, who was about Tadhg's age at the time, and they were speaking Vietnamese and playing, and when they were leaving, Tadhg gave him one of his toys, and it wasn't just some toy that he hadn't been using, it was one of his favorite toys. I can't remember what it was, but if it was one of your favorites, it probably was a Pokemon.
It was a snuggle bear.
You have to tell people about the whole Pokemon.
I was little. And I said, you don't have to do that. It's one of your favorite toys. And he didn't want to just give him something for himself. He wanted to give him something that came from you, that meant something to you. So that Tadhg has this burning passion to understand why people do things really doesn't surprise us at all. What does surprise us is that the part about using science to figure out these questions, and in particular to use math. Because math was never an intuitive, natural thing for Tadhg. Still is.
Still struggles every day.
Tadhg, I have lasting evidence of how much math and Tadhg did not go together. But I have to tell you first about a table that I bought for Odile just after Tadhg was born. So this table is about as old as you are. We still have it in our house. It's our dining room table. It was very expensive for us at the time. Nowadays it doesn't look that much special, that too special, but it's still nice. It's got very good style and class because Odile saw it first and picked it out. And she's got impeccable taste. And we thought it was a hardwood table, but obviously we've learned it's quite a softwood table. Because when we moved to Vietnam, it was in our dining room, and that's where the kids did their homework. And the table now has, in the softwood that we thought was hard, quite a few engravings, and one of them, I'll show you a picture later if anybody's interested. It says exactly. I had to look at it this morning. It says, "Be gone, math. I cast you to the valley of death." And these particular, there's another one. These particular pieces of graffiti, we still don't know till today who wrote them, because both Charlotte, his sister, and Tadhg did their homework there. And since we've discovered this, whatever it was, 10, 15 years ago, they've had this sort of collective amnesia of not recalling who exactly did something like this, and we weren't too pleased in the beginning, although we kind of like it now. And I called Charlotte this morning to give her one last chance to admit to this, and she stuck to the story. "I really don't remember, Dad." And I sent her the picture of it, which I happen to have, and she goes, I think that's Tadhg's handwriting.
And we have another
The other
bus.
piece of it that said, "I hate math." But interestingly, showing a little bit of numeracy, hate was spelled the letter H and the numeral 8. So Tadhg and math had this same sort of antagonistic relationship all the way through high school. And well, suddenly something happened at Pace, and Dr. Coleman, I hope you're one of the people I can thank for this.
Don't blame me. I know I don't. Somehow we got good at it. I don't think it was my fault.
No, I think I realized what happened is Tadhg realized that math could be used to help answer these questions that really were part of his passion. And there was a purpose suddenly to math. There was a meaning to math that made it worthwhile. And combining that purpose and passion is what I think brought you where you are today, and what brought you to that stage. I know you and many of you here are probably going through an exciting and also anxious time going forward. Lots of questions about what's going to happen. We had a conversation about what Tadhg's going to do the other nights, and that was a fun conversation. That was a fun conversation, but it did end up with one of those ones, surprisingly, where all those questions were why? You know, take the GRE, why? Take a coding school, why? Go to graduate school, why? But I'm ashamed to say that the person asking why, that was me. And it's about, and at the end of the conversation, Tadhg said, "Look, it's my life. Shut up. I'm doing." And he's absolutely right. And I think as long as he and all of you can keep that passion together with purpose, whatever you have in front of you, and it's going to be an adventure and it's going to be exciting, it'll be fantastic. And so with that, I just like to raise the glass to the class of 2016. All of you.
Cheers.
Great job.
Cheers.